Meeting come to order, please. Roll call, press your present button. Brian, you're not showing up. And neither is Sammy. Use your thumb, it works better.
I'm getting a red light here, but it's not.
You definitely here. Robin? Phew. Well, hell. Council, can we go to voice vote?
It's not, I mean, unless there's a way to recover it quickly. Otherwise, we can just do it by show of hands or voice.
Computer girl, what do you think? Cancel it out. Voice vote. All right, no, they're not absent. We've got all 10 people here.
That is correct.
So let the record show that, please. Wow, what a start. Announcements, staff. Maybe we can do better, folks. Y'all just bear with us.
Well, it's like carried away. Sorry about that. Just a couple of announcements. First of all, you'll notice we're still down to 10 people on the Planning Commission. However, 2 new Planning Commissioners have been identified, one of which will be heard at the County Commission meeting this month, but could not serve until, because of the fluke in the calendar, cannot serve until the February meeting. And at the February County Commission meeting, a second Planning Commission will be named. So
Great.
we should be back to a full body by this time next month. Other than that, Mr. Chairman, I believe that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Consideration of minutes of December 12, 2019. Any corrections or comments? Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Consideration of the consent agenda. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll begin under the bond. Item 3, Burning Tree Farm, Section 1, Maintenance Bond for Roads, Drainage, and Erosion Control, $125,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 1 year. Item 4, Clovercroft Acres, parentheses, Preserve, which is what it's now called, wastewater area. Maintenance bond for wastewater treatment disposal system landscaping, $43,800. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 5, Foxen Canyon, Section 2, Maintenance bond for water, $126,058.75. Recommendation, reduced to maintenance the amount of $31,514.69 until June 28, 2020. Item 6, Foxen Canyon, Section 2, Performance Bond for Sewer, $224,735. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 6 months. Item 7, Silverstream Farm, Section 4F, Maintenance Bond for Roads, Drainage, and Erosion Control, $50,000. Recommendation, defer until the February 2020 meeting. Item 8, Silverstream Farm, Section 4G, Maintenance Bond for Roads, Drainage, and Erosion Control, $50,000. Recommendation, extend to the February 2020 meeting. And dropping down under final plats, item 13, final plat review revised for the Grove, Section 11, containing 46 lots on 68.78 acres located off Wildings Boulevard in the 2nd voting district. This plat is in order and staff recommends approval with the following stipulations. 1, the signatures of all lot owners of the section shall be required prior to signature and recording of the final plat. And 2, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plane Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of this plat.
Thank you, sir. Any comments on consent? Motion? Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Next agenda item is a public hearing, concept plan review revised for Troubadour Golf and Field Club containing 324 lots on 670.99 acres located off Cox Road in the 5th voting district. For those of you in the audience, our procedures are as follows. The staff will read the staff report on this agenda item. At its conclusion, you will be invited to, if you've signed up, to come to the, I'll call your name, and you come to the podium and make your comments, okay? Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A revised concept plan for this development was approved by this body at the August 2018 meeting. That concept plan included a total of 430 lots, which was a reduction from the 482 originally approved in February of 2008. The applicant is now requesting approval of another revised concept plan, which includes the following key changes. First, the location of the Patton Road entrance has been shifted eastward to coincide with the location of the current driveway. An intersection analysis has been conducted for the relocated access point, and the county's highway department traffic engineer concurs with the findings. The analysis indicated that turn lanes are not warranted at this location. However, the applicant is proposing a right turn deceleration lane as well as an acceleration lane to facilitate turning movements into and out of the site. Secondly, the internal road and lot layout has been revised, generally resulting in larger lots than that depicted on the previous concept plan. And third, the increased lot sizes in various areas of the development has resulted in a reduction in the number of lots from 430 to 324. Staff recommends approval of the revised concept plan with the same conditions of approval that were established at the February 2008 meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions of staff? By members? I see none. We'll open the public hearing at this time on this agenda item. I will remind you that you have 3 minutes to speak. I've got a clock watcher here too, by the way, just in case you're wondering. Mark Stewart, come to the podium, sir.
Thank you all. I'm Mark Stewart. I reside at 6238 Patton. We now call it Arno Acres. I've been a resident there since 2000. My family's been there since 1810. I've seen a lot of changes take place since I entered the world. And started out as a private road, steam fences across it, and forded the creek. About the time I was born in the 30s, they built a bridge across it, which I'm amazed is still standing with the number of dump trucks fully loaded going across it. And my concern more is traffic than anything. Although flooding is a problem until FEMA used its power in 07 and took me and the Burnses out of the floodplain. It ends there at the bridge, Patton Road. And we didn't have a flood until the flood of 2010, and since then it's been regular. You may have been aware, Sunday night a week ago, I saw more emergency vehicles on Patton Road I've never seen in my life, both police and sheriffs, including one of the sheriffs stalling out right in front of my house due to the high water. So, they've already taken the opportunity to add about 10 or 12 inches of concrete plus about 2 to 3 foot wooden railing to the culvert that was already there, which sort of backed up the water, but now it's become more of a dam, backing water into the road, and then the debris collects, and that backs even more water. But I'll say for Troubadour, I've noticed that the first thing the next morning, they're down with their backhoes and clean it out. Now, I keep wondering, are they putting it on the other side to float on down the creek, or taking it away? I don't know. But with the new pavement and so forth on Patton Road, dump trucks all the time, people coming to visit the winery, the vineyard, and then there are so many people in Marshall, Rutherford, and Bedford County who found the shortcut to get to Franklin. They're starting to come through there, and maybe not as much as word, people coming off at 840 onto, instead of going through the four-way stop and try in, they would come to Patton Road thinking it was faster. Now that there's a traffic light, I don't think it's happening as much. But y'all approved the Arrington Ridge but I understand over 100 homes and Piney Creek, and I have no idea how many that is, plus what's over at McDaniel Road. And I know the Arrington Ridge people, those are gonna wanna get on 840, they're gonna come Patton Road, cause I'm 2 miles away, that make them about 4 miles away to use that. So I would like to see that not be a regular entrance, but emergency entrance to get it from Troubadour on the Patton Road. There are 2 entrances on Cox. If they follow through all their phases, there'll be an entrance on Horton Highway, as I understand it. But I'd hate to see another entrance on it. Now, thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. Marl Prothero, did I pronounce that right? Pull that mic down, please, ma'am. There you go.
I do just need a second here to speak about the traffic problem that we are having. It's become somewhat of a safety issue. Just last week on the news, if anyone was watching, we had this flood. They used Pat Road, that very gate as a photo of flooding in the area. And at this point, with all of the developments that have happened in the area, I'm not against development. I'm not here to say I'm against development, but I do believe that, and I do want to say, from what I know about Troubadour, I do believe that that could be really one of the greatest neighbors a person could really have. I've read about the company and everything they touch really is a Class A type of project, so I think it could be a really, really great thing to work with council. So I'm not speaking against that. There's just a couple things that are serious problems with opening Patton Road up to a main entrance, and that is, it's a very small road. It is a major cut through right now, with everything that's been approved for all the other developments in the area, and that Arrington Ridge with that property across the street from it. People likely will come right down Patton Road also to get on 840. 840 is a great improvement to be able to have that access right there to access the rest of the other side of the road. It is putting a lot of impact on that road. There's some sharp cutoffs on Patton Road that realistically seems like it'd be an awful big engineering feat really can happen in today's world. If you have the money, you can do about anything. So, maybe that's been looked at, I don't know, but I don't know if that's a very big concern. I think every single person on that block would have that same concern. A lot of people couldn't be here tonight, with the way, the public meetings are posted. It's not always easy for everybody to get to these meetings. It's not always something that maybe those on the residents might have input also about the traffic problem. If you call the sheriff's department, they have probably a lot of calls in for people feeling they're speeding through there. We've had people pass us on the wrong side of the road. We had people don't know, or they're driving into Nashville, they are coming from the Dublin community. I had a person pass me on the left-hand side of the road while I was going up to something. I mean, it's just bad. And I think there are considerations there. My last question, is when was the last traffic impact done on Troubadour? I'm just concerned about that, or wonder. It was mentioned that it's gone through a few different hands. I think in 2008.
Get her to look at it.
Originated. I'm not sure when the last, even that there were revisions in 2018.
3 minutes.
But I just wondered when the last traffic impact study was done on that. Revised plan.
I'll get you an answer to that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mike,
You want me to answer that now?
please.
Well, there was an initial traffic impact analysis done in 2008 in conjunction with the initial approval of the development. At that time, the development consisted of 482 lots, and they were always proposing, a certain number of entrances, 2 on Cox, 1 on Horton, 1 on Patton. So that's been part of the development from the beginning. The changes that have taken place, the revised concept plans that have been before you, including the one tonight, have resulted in a reduction in the number of lots and therefore a reduction in the traffic that's going to be generated by the development. I think that's an important point to make. While there hasn't been another full-blown traffic impact analysis and one has not been required, if they were increasing the number of lots, we'd make them do that, of course. But when they're actually reducing the number of lots, and so they've done that from 482 to 324, that's very significant. There's not that requirement. I get more than a minute, right? Now, having said that, in conjunction with this concept plan, because they're shifting the location of the entrance to a different location on Patton Road, we did ask them to do an intersection analysis. So they did current traffic counts and did an intersection analysis to determine whether any turn lanes would be required. So that's been current. That's just in the last couple months that's taking place. So that's fresh and new. The original traffic impact analysis that was reviewed by our consultant requires them to make a number of improvements to the roadway network, some of which they've already made. Some will be made in conjunction with them opening additional entrances. And so when they do open the Patton Road entrance, they'll be required to make improvements to Patton Road itself from the entrance back toward Horton. That will improve safety in terms of it now meeting AASHTO requirements in terms of the lane widths and the shoulders. They're also going to be required to put in a left turn lane on Cox onto Patton that would facilitate that turning movement.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. The last public hearing speaker, Mr. J.C. Burns.
My name's J.C. Burns. I live at 6288 Patton Road. Been there all my life. We've owned the property since the early 60s. My concern is the traffic. What are they having the plans to do to the road? Are they talking about raising it as far as the flooding goes? Is anybody aware of that?
Direct your comments to me and make your comments. We'll discuss that at a later time. Okay?
So you don't know if they're raising the road or not?
As I said, this is not a Q&A. You make your speech.
Right.
And we'll listen.
Well, that's my concern.
Okay.
Because if they're raising the road,
So are you done?
that's going to push water back on us.
I understand.
And I don't think that's right
I agree with that.
because we farm for a living. Been there, like I said, since the early 60s. But I think they need to do some studies before they just jump up and they're allowed to do whatever they want to. That's my
Okay.
concern.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you, folks. That concludes the public hearing. We'll go to Planning Commission discussion, questions, comments. Beth?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand that we're at the concept phase at this point, and so there's a lot of different phases to go forward on this, but can we ask for staff to have any comments about the flooding that has been experienced there, stormwater review, all of that? It's a little bit concerning to me. We all know that with more permeable surfaces that are created with our development, that does impact, obviously, some of these conditions. If anybody has any feedback.
For that section of creek that's not studied by FEMA. And since that's not their only access, it may be able to flood at the 100, but they can still access from that intersection.
So would that flood study impact in terms of what type of design would ultimately be?
It could, yeah, for whatever improvements they would have to do to the road, they couldn't impact adjacent properties. Yeah.
So it sounds like with some of the concerns here, we're at the concept phase, but could we provide, answer some of these questions a little bit more detailed down the road for maybe the neighbors and even having a meeting. I'd be willing as a county commissioner even just to share some of the plans with them if they have some concerns. Is that appropriate, Mr. Chairman? Or I'll ask staff, Mike, that.
You're the one to volunteer to do the work. I'm the wrong one to ask.
Well, I'll just point out that before they can actually open that entrance, they'll need to submit a preliminary plat and construction drawings, and
Right.
those construction plans for that entrance would have to be approved. So there will be some vetting that takes place. The other thing I'll mention is that the developer is represented here tonight. Matt Bryant with A2 Group, the engineer, is here, and I think he is prepared to address some of those flooding issues as well.
Can we do that now? What was his name?
Matt Bryant?
Mr. Bryant? Welcome to Williamson County Planning. You have the floor.
Good
You
evening.
have more than 3 minutes, so
3 minutes.
if you can answer questions.
Okay. Matt Bryant with M2 Group. I've been before you all many times on this project. It's had an interesting history. To address the changes that are coming about with this concept plan, the original concept plan, or the currently approved concept plan, had an entrance location that was further west on Patton Road. And the installation of that entrance would have been a significant impact to the view shed of Patton Road. It's a nice little country road as you drive down through it. And so as the developers and the project team looked at it, we saw a lot of value in moving that entrance to where the existing driveway is, where the trees are already cut down, where there's already an entrance from the previous residence that was out there. Now that current driveway, I believe, is part of the flooding. It's contributing to the flooding that's out there. It's an at-grade roadway crossing with 12-inch CMP culverts that are in there. It's been in there for a long time. It's very hard to keep that clear of debris. So as logs and trees and leaves and things come down through the stream, kind of plugs them up. We get a high rain event. It starts to flow over top of the driveway. And so as part of the proposed design, we will be removing that at grade crossing, and we'll be putting in a culvert or some sort of span that, in my opinion, can do nothing but help the situation. Now, will it prevent that road from ever flooding again? I certainly can't say that, but it will certainly make the situation better. And as we get into the detailed design of those phases there, we're going to be studying that. I think one of the gentlemen mentioned it before. It was originally in the FEMA floodplain back in the early 2000s, but when FEMA went through there and redid or updated their flood study, they removed it from the floodplain. So I think there's always historically been some flooding issues down through there. And our goal is to hopefully make it better with what we're going to do there. So,
Questions? Anyone? Yes, ma'am. Okay.
So the first set of homes are going on Patton Road, right? The first phase? Okay, because the
No.
plat shows Patton Road as the first, looks like, am I just misunderstanding it?
No, so this is a development that is well under construction. They've got several phases that have already been approved and have final plats and have houses and people living there. So the two entrances that exist now are on Cox Road.
Right, okay.
And those support about, I think there've been, 190 something.
164 lots have been
164.
platted to date.
Okay.
So this will actually, if I'm not mistaken, be the last of the entrances that are opened. Is that right?
But there'll still be the entrance onto Horton Highway.
Yeah.
As shown on the plan.
Anything else? You have anything else? Oh, okay. Yes, sir, Sammy.
Back to Mike, what, you mentioned that there would be improvements to Patton Road, as a future phase, and, what Matt's talking about there with the improved culvert and everything. What exactly, again, tell us that, what is going on at Patton Road, or the future?
So in terms of the developer obligations, they will be required to widen Patton Road from the entrance back toward Horton Highway. And by widening, I mean.
You said toward, you mean to or
Yeah,
toward?
two, thank you. Yeah, to Horton Highway. So that will entail widening the travel lanes and also adding 4 or 6 foot shoulders where they don't exist now. So that'll be one improvement that they're responsible for making. The other one would be a turn lane at Cox and Patton, a left turn lane southbound. So those are the Patton Road requirements. They've had to make other improvements on other roads.
Anything else, Sammy? Anything else?
No, sir.
Further comments? Questions? Yes, sir.
Going back to what Sam was just talking about, will this be required to?
Pull your mic down there,
I'm sorry.
Don.
They'll be required to obtain right-of-way in order to do this from private property?
I don't know if they've determined that or not, but if they are, that's fully their responsibility. And if they're unable to, then they can't open that entrance and then can't get the lots that are predicated on the opening of that entrance. So that's the burden of any right-of-way acquisition or even off-site easements is on the developer to get.
Okay, and the county, it won't be any case where the county will condemn the land or anything. It'll be
That's
strictly
not
on
happened-
on
It's
them.
not happened in the past. It's always established that it's the developer's responsibility.
Okay. Thank you.
Other comments? Beth?
Follow up, we have a concept plan here, but at the preliminary level, we will have undergone the flood study and have more detailing in terms of the engineering improvements. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, definitely. Anyone else? Further discussion? Comments? Questions? Motion?
Move we approve for staff recommendation.
Motion made and seconded. Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. That concludes the public hearing. Agenda item 10, non-residential site plan review revised for Stag's Leak Treatment Facility expansion on 24.42 acres located off Arno Road in the 5th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A site plan for a non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system was approved for a portion of the property in conjunction with the initial approval of the Stag's Leap subdivision in 2005. That approval included the use of a step system, and the system has since been constructed and is in operation. The applicant is now requesting approval of a revised site plan for the wastewater treatment and disposal system in order to add disposal capacity to the existing system, which will continue to serve the Stag's Leap subdivision and will also serve a proposed development on a property located on the south side of Meeks Road, approximately 500 feet from the existing treatment plant. County zoning ordinance requires a site plan for the revised non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system to be approved before a concept plan for the proposed subdivision the system will serve may be submitted. In total, these system areas will comprise approximately 25 acres of the subject properties, and the individual system components meet the specific setback requirements of the zoning ordinance. An amended draft state operating permit has been issued by TDEC for the proposed expansion to the system. A revised design development report and revised detailed soils investigation report were prepared by the applicant and submitted to the county. County's wastewater consultant has reviewed these reports and is recommending approval of the proposed site plan. A conceptual layout for the proposed subdivision, which depicts 33 lots, has been included as sheet C4 of the site plan packet. This conceptual layout is provided for illustrative purposes only and has not been reviewed for compliance with applicable regulations. It is staff's opinion that the combination of distance, topography, and existing vegetation will serve to adequately screen the treatment system from adjacent properties. A revised landscaping plan has been submitted and approved. Site plan is in order and staff recommends approval. Prior to the submittal of a final plat for any development outside of Stag's Leap that may depend upon the system for the treatment and disposal of wastewater, and prior to the issuance of a zoning certificate for the additional disposal components, the applicant shall provide the following. Number one, A letter from TDEC indicating that the non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system was installed and is functioning. Number 2, as-built drawings showing the location of all system components and a sealed certification letter from the design engineer indicating that the non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system was constructed in accordance with the approved construction plans and specifications. Number 3, a letter from the owner/utility provider indicating that it has accepted the non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system and is currently operating the same. Number 4, posting of a performance bond in the amount of $69,000 for the expanded disposal system as specified by the county's wastewater consultant. Number 5, the posting of a performance bond in the amount of $26,000 for landscaping improvements. And number 6, execution of performance agreements for the above referenced sureties.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff? Yes, ma'am.
So, as far as I understand, Stag's Leap's not expanding. They're just wanting to expand in their wastewater to accommodate
Contiguous development.
a continuous development out in that area.
That is correct, yes.
Anything else? That was easy. Other comments? Beth?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to say I appreciate staff with even looking at a revised landscaping plan in terms of the screening of these sites. I know in the past there were issues with that with elevations and topography. So when we come to this meeting, I have confidence that y'all have really looked at that and improved the screening for neighbors. And I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Don, do you have a comment? No, excuse me. Anyone else? Any further discussion? Motion made and seconded. Any further comment? Ready to vote? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 11, non-residential site plan review for Brightstone campus on 139.2 acres located off Columbia Pike in the 11th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting approval of the overall master plan for the Brightstone campus, which consists of approximately 223,500 square feet of buildings and the associated parking. The applicant has requested action on this item be deferred until the March 2020 meeting. Staff concurs with this request.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Prepare to vote. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 12, preliminary plat review for the Grove Phase 10 containing 54 lots on 43.65 acres located off of Wildings Boulevard in the 2nd voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting preliminary plat approval for Phase 10 of the development, which consists of 54 lots and approximately 20 acres of open space. The plat remains consistent in layout with that depicted on the revised concept plan, which was approved in April 2016. Staff recommends approval of the preliminary plat. In conjunction with final plat consideration, the following items must be addressed. Number 1, establishment of a performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control. Number 2, establishment of a performance bond for water improvements in favor of Millcrofton Utility District. 3, establishment of a performance bond for the wastewater collection system. 4, submission of landscaping plans and establishment of a performance bond for landscaping. Number 5, execution of performance agreements for the above referenced sureties. Number 6, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And number 7, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff? Comments? Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 13 was on consent. Agenda item 14, Final plat review revised for Stone Valley large lot easement containing 4 lots on 36.56 acres located off Lewisburg Pike in the 2nd voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subject property is approximately 37 acres in size and is located off Lewisburg Pike, approximately 1/4 mile north of Bethesda Duplex Road. The applicant is requesting approval of a large lot easement subdivision, excuse me, in order to create 5 lots off a new 50-foot ingress-egress utilities easement. At this time, the applicant is requesting deferral to the February 2020 meeting to allow more time to obtain the required signatures. Staff concurs with this request.
Motion to defer. Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Final agenda item under old business, non-residential site plan review for Nolan Hills Church of Christ on 62.31 acres located off Nolanville Road in the 5th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting approval of an approximately 10,100 square foot church building and the associated parking. Property in question is located on Nolansville Road, approximately 1/4 mile south of Sanford Road. Properties surrounding the parcel in question are greater than 10 acres in size and are used primarily for residential or agricultural purposes. The property is located within the town of Nolansville's urban growth boundary. Copy of the plan was shared with town staff, and at the time of this writing, no comments have been received. TDOT has reviewed the plans for access to Nolansville Road and has granted conceptual approval. Water to the site is served by Nolansville College Grove Utility District, and staff has received confirmation that service is available. Wastewater will be handled via on-site septic, and the Williamson County Department of Sewage Disposal Management has reviewed and approved the request. A landscaping plan has been reviewed and approved by staff. Site plan is in order, and staff recommends approval with the following conditions. Number 1, posting of a performance bond for landscaping improvements in the amount of $80,500. Number 2, execution of a performance agreement for the above referenced surety. Number 3, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And number 4, all signage must be approved per ordinance requirements.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff? Motion made and seconded. Prepare to vote. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The motion carries. Now I will entertain a motion to adjourn. We're out of here. Thank you, folks.